It is 10:30, and we are live with Little Shop of Physics Live, and we're going to start by showing off these awesome goggles that we have. Now, we showed that in your eye, you have 3 different color sensors. You've got a red and a green and a blue. If I wear these yellow goggles, this blocks out the blue, so I see everything but blue, so the Little Shop of Physics shirts do not look as awesome. And Maud's got a pair that blocks out.
My goggles are cyan, and they block out red. And
so you don't see reds.
Yeah, so everything looks very, very cool and blue and green.
And Brenna's got a pair.
I have a magenta goggles, and they block out green. So we have a fake tree in the Little Shop of Physics, and it looks brown to me right now. I can't see any greens.
And then some animals don't see certain colors. We see red and green and blue, but not all animals do. In particular, most mammals are not really very good at seeing red. Like your dog probably doesn't see red. And another thing that doesn't see red is deer and animals that tigers hunt. So we had a tiger here at the start of the show, and tigers are orange. And you might think that's not a very good way to hide, to be colored orange in the green vegetation. But it turns out, if the things that you're hunting can't see red, it's a really awesome way to hide. And what we have, we're going to show a little video here. And in the video, we've put a filter over top of the screen. And we're going to roll it, and we're going to show 30 seconds with a filter that eliminates the red. And the question is, where is the tiger? We want you to try to spot it. Is it in the tree, over to the left of the tree, over to the right of the tree, or at the base of the tree? Where is the tiger? So keep looking. Can you spot it? Can you spot the tiger?
This is a trick question. I don't think there's a tiger.
Oh my goodness, and Maud says, trick question, no tiger. No, there's definitely a tiger. There's definitely a stuffed tiger in there. Charmine, the stuffed Bengal tiger, is somewhere in that field of view. And now we can switch to visible light, the full spectrum light, and see how that changes the view. Oh, that makes it a little bit easier. That makes it a little bit easier. Oh my gosh, now folks are getting it. They're saying it's at the base of the tree.
You are right.
You are correct. We stuck a little stuffed tiger at the base of the tree. But if you're looking and you can't see red, the orange of the tiger just looks green and you don't see it. But there it's there, and it's a little subtle, but there is our tiger. There is our tiger at the base of the tree, which is kind of awesome. And there's certain creatures that just don't see colors the same way. And we've got these 3 pairs of goggles that eliminate the blue or the green or the red, and there are animals that see that way. And that's not necessarily bad, it just means you experience the world differently. And we did a little video where we distributed some colorful candies in the grass and had 3 people wearing these 3 different colors of goggles. And what that meant was they can find very different candies. Oh man, Connor got pretty excited about distributing those candies. And then Charmine and Emma and Maud were wearing glasses with different filters. And look, magenta filter. Oh, there's the blue M&M. That's pretty easy to spot. She got all the blues. And if you're wearing a cyan filter, man, those yellows really pop. And the greens.
Maud has like all greens.
And no reds, because you can't see the reds. And who gets the reds? Or the person with the yellow filter. Oh yeah, that is awesome. So different animals have different kinds of visions, and they experience the world very, very differently, and that could be adaptive depending on what specific things they need to look at. Which brings us to the subject of chickens, who have amazing color vision, and Brenna has chickens. So Brenna, tell us about the chickens and what they see and what they like.
So chickens have really good color vision, like Brian was saying, and actually they really like the color red, right? Because red is the color of most of their tasty fruits, vegetables, or bugs that they like to eat. So I took a little video because if you take a cantaloupe and a watermelon, put them in their pen at the same time, they actually go after the watermelon first, and they favor the watermelon because it is red, and they really are sensitive to the color red. And watermelon is their favorite food. If y'all have chickens, you gotta get them a watermelon.
Man, they hit that watermelon hard.
They just love watermelon. And if you have your fingernails painted red, they'll come and pick at those. They just love the color red.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So deer can't see red, but chickens can.
So if you're a deer, watch out.
Chickens will come.
They'll come get you.
Now,
The chicken will come for the tiger and to let the deer know where the tiger is.
and over here, Maud has got a thing that's like a dragonfly eye, right? I think.
Yep, so I've just got these two little pieces of plastic, and I've got a bunch of glass balls in here, little glass spheres. And so this is supposed to model a dragonfly eye. And on my computer screen in front of me, I have got a moving fly video, just with a white background. And dragonflies don't really need anything too special when it comes to their vision. So we always think that those bug eyes are kind of a nuisance because you can't really see anything. You can't see any detail. But the point of their eyes is to see the movement.
Wow, the motion shows up really well.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's more apparent in the dragonfly eye.
Yeah.
So you can see just the fly moving around, and it's just lighting up, or it's just kind of showing up in one of those spheres at a time as it moves across the screen.
And so having eyes like that would make you really sensitive to motion, which if you're a predator and you're also trying to avoid things that are trying to prey on you could be kind of awesome. Having eyes that can see in all directions. That is awesome. Well, we were talking about color, and now we want to talk about how things become colorful. Now, the reason why tigers are orange, and like why wouldn't tigers just be green? Well, mammals don't have the ability to make pigments in any color other than brown and orange and things like that, okay? But there are animals that do, and they're animals to make certain colors. They use a really interesting trick, and I have this little piece of glass here, and it's got a clear coating on it. But when I look at the reflection in the glass, you can see the reflection is clearly pink. The reflection is clearly pink. Now, it's completely clear, but if I take a light then and I shine it through, the light that goes through is distinctly green. And so it's split the color into two different parts of the spectrum. I've got green and I have not green. So what color is this thing actually? What color it is actually is completely transparent, but there's a thin layer. And so it's an example of what we call structural color, not pigment, color from structure. And there are creatures in the world that make their color this way. So we're going to show you some creatures that are completely made of transparent materials, but they produce some of the most brilliant colors in nature.
And a lot of these are bugs.
Oh my gosh.
And these are some 3D glasses we have here, so they have some polarizers in there. And one polarizer you can see the green, the other you can't.
Oh my gosh, and look at these. They're green or purple, depending on the angle you look at.
So it just depends on how the light hits them. This one's orangey green, depending on where the light hits it. But really it's just clear. Same thing with this blue morpho butterfly. It's just how the light reflects in and out of those little transparent cells on their body. It's kind of awesome.
No blue pigment at all. It's
No,
all just the structure of the scale. It's kind of an awesome thing. And these days I'm just obsessed with structural color. Well, there's another place where you use thin layers of transparent materials to reflect light, and it gives you some color as well. And that's in the back of the eye. You have this, some animals have a structure called a tapetum. And we have a little demonstration that Brenna is going to show us, which is this was a tapetum, right? I think is the thing that you made. And so we're going to show that, and then we'll do the video of it. But first, Brenna's going to show how this thing works.
Yeah, so this is just a stuffed animal peep. And we surgically removed its eyes and placed some reflective material. This is just like the reflective material that you wear, at night when you're riding your bike. But if I shine this light, let's see. We can get Patrick lined up here.
Oh my gosh.
You can see
Whoa.
those eyes flash.
Those eyes are flashing red like crazy.
Yeah, but if I point the light at the side, you can't see that
see
flash
it
anymore. So it depends all on the angle of the light and the angle of the viewer's eyeballs.
And we have a little video that shows this in action.
Yeah, so you can see our peep there. And then if you hold the little flashy light up by your nose, you can see those eyes flash. And you've seen this in animals, if you've ever seen a raccoon at night or a cat at night, or even your dog. If you've seen your dog's eyes glowing, that is the tapetum flashing that light back at you. It just helps them see a little bit better. So this peep can see really well at night.
Which is awesome. which is awesome. So we surgically altered it, and we made it able to see better at night. That's not so bad.
I mean, it was
So you realize what you created, but you know, whatever.
in the long run.
And there are creatures that work this way, and so we're going to have a little video here. And first, here's a picture of my wife and my dog, and I convinced her to be able to just hold the dog and let me take a flash photograph of the two of them with their eyes wide open. And you can see, for Carol, we get the little red eye, but look at those glowing demon eyes that Pumbaa has. I mean,
Pumbaa looks
huge
scary.
eye shine coming back from Pumbaa. Crazy, crazy. Yeah, very, very bright eyes. And then we have a little video of Emma's dog. Here's a little howling dog and its glowing eyes. And that was because the light from the camera was right where the input is. And if you want to spot animals like this, and I'm going to show you an example, on my helmet I have a headlight, and the headlight is of course on your head, because like where else would you put a headlight? It goes on your head. And when I get home, I take this out into the backyard and I look around with it, because if I'm wearing it on my head, the light is right near where my eyes are. And so animals that have a tapetum, I get a really bright reflection back from them, and I can see their eye shine. And there are a lot of animals in the world that have this eye shine that you can spot. And I'm going to ask you folks to tell us, what are some examples of animals that would show this eye shine? I'm going to launch a poll. Which animals would have this eye shine? Which could you spot this way?
I know cats for sure.
Oh yeah, they got cats. And some folks are saying deer.
Yeah, deer definitely.
There's some votes for catfish coming in. Someone has said sharks as well. And somebody has said spiders.
Awesome.
Spiders. I don't want to see spiders.
And here's the
Me
thing.
either.
This one was kind of a trick question. All those animals show eye shine. And when I do this in my backyard, the main thing I spot is spiders and moths. Miller moths have amazing glowing red eyes. When I go in the backyard, I can spot them under the eaves of my shed, and also the spiders. This is kind of an awesome thing. So take a light, and if you just have a flashlight, take the flashlight and put it right next to your eye like this. Turn that flashlight on, look around your backyard, and you will spot the creatures with the glowing eyes. So I spot kitties, I spot spiders, I spot moths, all kinds of different things.
That sounds frightening. I'm good.
Your definition of fun and mine are two different things, Brian.
Yeah.
And now we're going to talk about sound, and we're going to start with some tubes, and Maud and Brenna have some tubes. Show us what you got.
We do. So these tubes, well, they're pretty long, but they just have some ridges on them. And I can look through the tube. There's nothing inside. But if I swing it around my...
Oh, whoa! Playing a little music.
It sings. Changing the length of the tube changes the sound.
Oh, whoa, whoa.
So this is kind of how dogs' vocal tracts work. And depending on the length of the tube, you can
That's right.
tell the size of the dog, right, Brian?
Oh, that's the thing we're going for. So I've got some different length tubes on the table here, and I have this little device. And when I blow on that, it just makes this noise. But when I put this noise in the different tubes, different length tubes, I get a really different kind of sound out of that. And dogs will growl to advertise how big they are. They make
That they
noise
will.
with their vocal cords.
Yes.
And they basically make a noise like this. And that noise goes in the tube. And you'll hear the resonances of the tube. There's certain frequencies the tube likes to vibrate at. And those resonances will be a real big cue as to how big is the tube. And Brenna's got a nice demonstration with a couple little stuffed dogs that show
I do.
this.
I have also surgically altered these dogs, but for science, so it's okay. But I have a small dog and I have a big dog. The big dog has a longer tube. The small dog has a smaller tube. And if I make the same noise that Brian did,
That's a little tiny dog. Oh, that's a bigger dog.
it's a big dog. So you can tell the difference, and it's just because the tube in each one is longer. So we have some videos to show big dogs versus small dogs and the noises that they make. And these are my parents' dogs, and they're not being mean, they're just playing. Here, Bricks and Bindi.
Bricks and Bindi. Oh, and they're just saying, they're just growling.
Yeah,
but they're not
they're
being
just playing.
nasty. And here's a little tiny dog that sounds very different.
He's bouncy.
Very bouncy.
Little thing
Awesome.
stops.
So it all depends on the length of the tube.
Length of the tube. And what you're hearing the resonances of the vocal tract. And dogs, and I know my dog does this, when he meets other dogs, he does this low growl. And the point of the low growl is just so that you can hear the resonances of the tube, and that tube is like the vocal tract. The bigger the dog, the bigger the vocal tract, the lower the resonance is. So I'm going to growl at you, and I apologize for growling at you because I like you folks and stuff. I don't want to be nasty, but I'm just advertising how big I am. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to breathe a mixture of gases that increases the speed of sound in my vocal tract. And what that will do is it'll make the frequencies higher. So I'm going to breathe some gases.
And now, I'm a really happy dog, and I'm trying to convince you that I'm giant, but it just does not work. And you can hear it's a very, very different kind of sound. And what you're responding to basically the resonances of the vocal tract, and you use that to sense how big something is. And if you get those low frequencies, it says big. Higher frequencies, it says that it's smaller, which is kind of awesome. It's kind of an awesome thing. Now, wolves, we were able to go up to the wolf sanctuary and get some video of wolves. And wolves straighten out their vocal tracts, and they howl, and they make them howl just like the tubes work that Maud and Brenna started with at the very start of the show. And they make awesome, awesome noise. This is the wolf sanctuary. They don't take visitors, but they do let people come up and make videos by prior arrangement, because but yeah, no visitors. But they're an awesome place, and they provide a home for these amazing creatures, do a really, really valuable service so that these folks can live their lives out in a natural environment along with other wolves rather than being cooped up in someone's house. So they have a very, very valuable mission.
They look so happy.
They do. And look at them. Put that, oh yeah, and this one is the best. Singing along. That is awesome. And so that's just straight up exciting the resonance of the vocal tract. Make that tube really, really straight. Make it sing. And you want to do that if you want to make as much noise as possible. Oh goodness, and I forgot.
Come on, Brian,
my prop for the Maud's got hers on. We all have different ears on now. And these are different external ears. And Brenna, you made these, right?
I did. So it turns out that animals inherently don't hear better or worse than other animals. They just hear in different ways. And it all depends on the shape of their ears. So here I have some big and tall ears, and I can really hear Brian's voice, and I can hear the fan behind me. It's actually quite loud. But depending on the shape of the ear, you can hear different sounds. So Brian, what sounds do you hear?
Oh, I'm hearing the fan. Like I can't escape the fan. And I hear my voice, but it sounds really tinny, really high-pitched. I'm hearing all the high frequencies. And Maud, how about you?
I can hear myself really well. I'm like resonating in my own ears, but I can't hear the fan like the rest of you.
Seriously?
I am not.
You don't hear the fan?
It's not.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not
I
happening
can't.
for me.
It's very distracting.
Man, the fan is like all I hear.
Yeah.
And if folks wanted to try this, they don't need to build a special pair of ears. They can do this right now. How do they do it?
Well, you have your own. You just make your little ears with your hands. So
Oh my gosh.
everybody at home, put your hands up to your ears like this and listen very carefully for the noises around you, and you should be able to pick up certain noises. So like I still hear the fan.
I can hear the fan now with this.
I can hear the fan. And if I'm pointing at Brenna, I hear Brenna. And if I'm pointing at Maud, I hear Maud. That was awesome.
You make your own little animal ears.
That was awesome.
I think we have a video.
Oh my goodness, we
demonstrate
do.
this.
Because animals that have forward-pointing ears like that are just much, much better at telling where sounds are coming from. And we have a little video where we demonstrated this with like a little cone and a microphone. Maud, tell us what you did here.
So here I just took my headphones and plugged them into my phone, and I stuck that microphone into a cone. So what the cone does is it kind of almost directionalizes where you can pick up sound from, kind of like those ears that we had on earlier. And so you'll see that with the cone, you could hear it only when the cone was pointed at Brian holding the speaker. But here, when I don't have the cone and the microphone is just out to the world, you can hear it everywhere.
So animals without that kind of cone just hear everything at once.
So we're more like the second. Humans have their ears on the sides of their heads, so we have more omnidirectional hearing. So we can hear stuff from all sides.
But like dogs and animals, like my dog has really sticky uppy ears. And so he's just hearing the sound that comes forward. And when he's out in the backyard and he's doing this, and he's scanning around, he's mostly not looking around. He's listening around. He's picking up sounds and really, really good at being able to localize where sounds come from. And you can try that if you put your hands up like this. You can tell where sounds are coming from. There's the fan. I can tell that for sure. And so it makes you able to do that really, really well. Now, another thing we want to consider vis-a-vis animals is keeping warm, keeping cool.
Well, Brian, don't we want to look at different animals' ears?
Oh, sorry, totally forgot you. Thank you, Brenna. Yes.
No problem. 'Cause
yes.
some animals don't have big ears, so how do they hear?
How do they hear?
Especially animals in water.
So let's take a look at some animals, and the question is, where are their ears? And this was sent to us by a PSD student
Oh,
from
manatee.
PSD Virtual.
And that's a beluga whale there.
Oh my gosh.
Bonk.
Well, it doesn't look like it has any ears.
No ears, and the seal, no ears. Looking for ears.
Well, Brian, I think you said earlier that the beluga whale actually hears through its fatty tissue on its head.
It does. It does.
And it just vibrates that. And then it can hear sounds.
And I'm thinking, and the beluga, there it is, and it's got this melon on its head, and it picks up sounds actually through its forehead, which is kind of awesome. And the seal, they don't need those big ears. If you're in water, the sound will go directly into your head, and so you don't need those big external ears, which is kind of awesome. And most water-dwelling creatures are that way. Awesome, awesome. And so they'd be able to hear much better in water than they would be able to hear in air. Brenna, thank you for reminding me we needed to do that. Now we're going to talk about keeping warm and keeping cool. And so we've got a thermal camera. And Brenna, tell us what you did with the thermal camera. Describe this investigation.
Yeah, so really what we did is we looked at basically animal fur, and we had ourselves out in the open without any fur on, and we looked at different insulating materials. So the first scenario, and we'll get it pulled up here, is Charmaine holds a big glass ball in front of her head, and that ball does not let any infrared through.
Oh, that's like windows would block infrared.
Yeah, Charmaine's heat.
Blocks it.
Kind of awesome. And then a balloon lets it right through.
Oh my gosh, that's why we have windows instead of like latex balloons stretched over the openings in our house.
Well, then we looked at warm-blooded and cold-blooded animals. So humans are warm-blooded, but worms are cold-blooded, and you can see they are definitely colder. And then we put on different coats, and you can see once we take the coat off, we're a lot hotter. And then when we put the coat on, we lose less heat. So that's actually how coats keep you warm.
Let's run that one more time. Yeah, here it comes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of awesome.
So that thermal radiation doesn't go through the glass.
But it does go through the balloon.
It does go through the balloon. And when you're radiating thermal radiation, you are losing energy. And the worms...
They don't lose that much
They
thermal
aren't.
energy. They just kind of hang out in the dirt, which is cold, and they're cold.
And Charmaine, when Charmaine takes the jacket off, man, you can see
can
she's
see the
losing a
heat.
lot of energy now.
Yep. But
And-
when I put the coat on, I lose a lot less energy, so then I stay warm.
Awesome.
All my energy stays inside.
And one of the things we did with the wolves, in addition to filming them howling, was to look at them with a thermal camera. And the wolves are really seriously furry. And you can tell they lose a lot less energy to the environment than the humans with them do. And
This
there's
is because
Jillian, who
they
was our
have
host
coats
up there, former intern with Little Shop of Physics, and now works up at the Wolf Sanctuary.
And the wolves
Awesome.
have coats on all the time.
Poor things.
And it's losing heat from its ears. I wonder if they use the ears to thermoregulate. Like if I'm really hot, I'm just going to send energy to my ears.
I know they do use their feet. Most dogs
Do they?
do.
Can we watch that one more time again? So if they lose an energy to their feet, I want to be able to see, can I see their little
Well, it looks
footies?
like the side of the leg is warmer than the rest of them.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah.
and their face and
Yeah.
their legs.
They're facing their legs, and so if they have to cool off. But man, not losing much heat from the body compared to Jillian. Jillian is losing a lot more. That is an awesome thing. Well, we've got one more week of Little Shop of Physics Live before CSU kind of like goes on summer break. And so next week we're going to do basically a greatest hits thing, and we're collecting together some demonstrations that we're going to do. And I'll show you an example of what I'm going to do. We did some things earlier with kitchen chemistry, and I'm going to show you how you can make this stuff. And this is ink, and if I pour this in my hand, it looks like it's completely blue. And if I rub it around my hand, it's like, oh no, my hand has gotten all colored and dyed. But if I rub my hands like that, it's all gone. I got disappearing ink. And I even have some on the table, and if I rub it on the table, it's gone.
All gone.
It's all turned clear. And I will show you how you do that. And Brenna, you got a little something for us.
That I do. So here I have Dinger, and I have this tub. And if I suck the air out of this tub...
Uh-oh. Dinger, watch out, buddy. This is not going to end well for you. Are you going to be shrink wrapping Dinger is what I'm sensing?
That I am. Dinger is going to have... Uh-oh. Oh, no! Oh, it actually is being pushed out of there. It was kind of awesome.
So we'll go ahead and we'll shrink wrap Dinger, and then...
Dinger said no thank you.
Dinger said no thank you to that. And then Maud has got a little levitation thing here.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all remember, but we've done this before. And so, I mean, hopefully if I've still got the trick up my sleeve
yeah.
here.
You do.
Awesome. It's just floating in the air. And that's our plan next week. It's just action-packed, nonstop. Here's something cool, here's something cool, here's something cool. All stuff, and we'll show you how you do everything. It's all things that people can try. So it's going to be our greatest hits edition. No particular theme, but just coolness. Maud has got the light bulb on her head, which is totally awesome. And then we're going to finish with some clips of some videos that people sent to us, because this last week we asked you to send us your animal videos, and people did. And people sent us all kinds of cute videos.
We tried to use as many as we could.
We used a bunch in the show, but the ones we weren't able to use in the show, we put together for a little collage at the end. So thank you for people for sharing all the videos, because the Little Shop of Physics Live is driven by you folks, what you say you want to see, what questions you have, and what videos you share. So thank you very much for everything that you've done to help us put the show together. Ooh, and check it out. That's a penguin underwater. Did you see that?
Did. There's an otter.
They have like wings.
Yeah,
I guess they're birds.
Yeah, they fly underwater.
I mean, I guess I'd never thought about that until like this instant, which is kind of embarrassing.
What else would they be?
They're clearly cats, Brenna.
Kitty.
All right.
Oh yeah, and here's a slow motion, awesome dog catch right there. And these are not cuddly animals, but they are awesome animals.
Sharks are cool.
Sharks are cool.
Sharks
and
are
There's a
It's not
cuddly
good.
animal.
There's a kitty making itself comfy. Awesome.
It's baking biscuits.
Oh, that's Bindi.
That's Bindi.
Yeah, I was blowing on her nose. She doesn't like that.
And here's more of the chickens saying like watermelon good. And baby chicks.
chickens. Awesome.
Could start a little shop zoo.
Oh my gosh.
could.
We could
There
totally
they
do
are
that.
playing.
Oh. Got the frisbee. Got the frisbee. That is an awesome, awesome thing.
I strive to live a life as happy as dogs that can catch frisbees.
know.
That's awesome. And that's it for this week's Animal Show. Next week is going to be our grand finale, Greatest Hits Edition. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.